So when you talk about a second-time home buyer, that person is generally first a seller. So when I talk about buyers' expectations, I'm really a lot of times more alluding to what sellers are going to need to do in order to actually create a transaction that is going to be successful for them. And that has changed. It's changed really from 12 months ago. What a buyer is going to expect this year versus last year has dramatically changed.
What has caused that change?
Well, primarily I think that we are still in a huge inventory deficit across the nation, and
Right.
even in central Minnesota. I mean, our months of inventory is quite low. But, we've alluded before that buyers buy a payment, and with the increase of interest rates and what they're going to be outlaying for a payment is going to eliminate their ability to maybe do improvements that where last year they might have gone into a house and say, my interest rate is 3.5%.
Yeah.
And my payment's going to be this, and I can afford to do some of those other things. And I have some cash left over from my sale where I can do some of those other things. When you start crunching that down where people's payment in general maybe has gone up, or their buying power has gone down about $75,000 to $80,000 year over year,
Right.
they're going to get a little more picky on what that house looks like, right?
Yeah.
So, so then when we meet with sellers, my first meeting with them is to kind of assess their property, and you would be surprised at what sellers think they need to do versus what they actually should be doing, and that has changed over time. So, a good example, and this was probably 6-7 years ago, I met with a gal and she was going to finish her basement.
Right.
And at that point it was actually pretty affordable, but where her price point was, that she was not going to recapture.
Exactly.
And she goes, well, I want to get maximum price for my house. And I said, I would not do that. I said, I would take the time to put some backsplash in your kitchen. And then this is where it gets a little sensitive, where you go, when you move, because she was moving out of state, do you plan on buying new furniture? Because her furniture was her mom's furniture. It was,
Gotcha.
like 1980s
Yep,
types
yep,
of colors. And I said, buy your furniture now. I said, you can invest $3,000 into some of these fixtures, and you get to take that investment with you. But the perception of people being able to visualize themselves in that home is
Yeah.
going to dramatically change by that investment.